Software dev companies are honestly one of the hardest types of businesses to market. And the reason is simple. They can do everything: custom builds, integrations, automations, mobile apps, AI, you name it. And while that sounds like a good thing, it actually kills their marketing, because when you can do everything, your message speaks to nobody. I'm Alessandro Cutri, and I've worked with over 50 plus B2B tech and AI firms and software dev shops and helped them generate millions in pipeline and revenue using meta ads. And in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how I would run meta ads for a software dev company from scratch. I'm gonna break down how we find the right offer, how we define the ICP, how we build the ads, the landing pages, the funnel, and the campaign structure. And by the end of this video, you're gonna have a full blueprint for how to generate high-ticket clients for a software dev shop using meta ads. So let's get right into it. Now, the first thing that we want to do before we start running ads is we want to make sure that we pick a lane. Now, the hard thing about marketing a software dev company is because they can do everything, it's actually very challenging to package that into a marketing message. So what we have to understand is we can't go with a broad message that speaks to nobody on cold traffic. So we have to figure out a specific use case, a specific industry, and one specific problem that we solve. And then we have to build offer statements around that. Because if we try to be super broad with our messaging and say, hey, we offer custom software solutions, it's not going to resonate with anyone, and we're not going to get any book calls, and we're not going to get any return on our investment. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to have a brain dump session. So what I want to ask a software dev shop are these three questions. What are the last three clients that you worked with? What industry were they in? And what specific problem did you solve for them? And I'm trying to look for a pattern. I'm trying to look for an industry that we can maybe get our feet in, where I'm trying to look for a specific problem or a solution that they've already built. Now, one great way and a hack that you can really figure out what offer you should create for a software dev shop is if you have sales calls recordings, right? So you can pull the exact language the ICP is using to describe their problem and then build your messaging actually around that. So what I would do is, if I was asking these questions, I would see that, okay, a software dev shop has built something recently for a healthcare company that's automated their patient, intake routing and cut the process from 2 hours to 15 minutes, right? Now I'm like, looking at this, I'm like, this is something that we can market. We're not going to market custom software development. Instead, we found this use case and we're going to market this. Now I'm going to find 2 to 3 different use cases and build offer statements around each of these and test exactly which one of them are going to resonate. Now, the reason why I do this, because in most cases with software dev shops, they can sell just about anything and they don't really care what it is that they sell. They just want something that people actually want. And so what we're doing with this is figuring out what does the market actually want and which use cases are going to resonate the best with the market in terms of that. Now that we have 2 or 3 of those use cases, here's where we're going to build the offer. Now, there's a big difference between a service and an offer. A service is what it is that you do. An offer is what they get. And remember this, cold traffic, they don't buy services. Cold traffic, they buy outcomes. So a cold traffic offer needs these 4 things. They need a specific person, a specific problem, a clear outcome, and a time frame. And if you even want to add risk reversal, this is going to be a great way to get your offer to really resonate with your target market. So here's a quick example so this lands home with you guys. If we were to just write, we build custom software solutions for healthcare companies, what does that even mean, right? No one's going to resonate with that. No one's going to click on that ad. No one's going to book a call with you. But if we say we help healthcare organizations automate their patient intake process in 60 days so the right data gets to the right place every single time without your team doing it manually, now all of a sudden we have an offer statement. We have something that actually gives them an outcome and that solves a specific pain in the market. And so what we want to make sure that we're really doing with this itself is creating this offer statement, doing this for each 3 of our individual use cases, and now we know exactly what we want to run. Okay, now that we understand the offer, now we have to really understand who the ideal client profile is for this offer. Hey, real quick, if you're watching this and you're thinking this is exactly the kind of system we should be building for our company, that's actually what my team and I do. We work with B2B tech firms to build out these exact growth systems, from the offer and the messaging all the way through the funnel and the ad campaigns. So if you'd like help implementing something like this, there's a link below where you can actually book a strategy call with myself, and I'll be happy to talk through if our system might work for you. Other than that, let's get back to the video. And so what we want to make sure that we figure out is, who are we talking to in our ads so that we can pull in more of these people in the actual messaging itself. So for this healthcare workflow automation example, we're probably going to be going after mid-sized healthcare operators, anywhere from 20 to 200 employees. We're going to be targeting maybe the COO, the VP of operations, or the practice manager. And now we're really getting granular on who we want to be speaking to in the ad itself. So we'll have different avatars based upon where they are in terms of level of awareness. So avatar 1 knows they have a problem and is actively looking for a solution. They know that their process is super manual and is taking their team a whole bunch of time to do a whole bunch of patient intake. Avatar 2, they know something is off, right, in terms of they have a problem, but they don't know that an actual software or something like that exists. So they're just problem aware. Avatar 3 are people that are talking with different vendors right now and trying to actively solve this problem right now. So now that we understand each of these buckets of avatars, we can write ads based upon the situation that they're actually in. So now we're going to go ahead and build the ad copy now that we understand the ICP, the avatars, and the offer itself. So we're always going to split test two types of ads. We're going to split test both video ads and static ads. And typically they're going to follow a similar 4-part structure. And that 4-part structure looks like this. First of all, there's an ICP call out, which basically just calls out the ICP, which in this case would be healthcare organizations. There's a pain point hook, which would basically call out the pain point that that person's going through, and then an offer statement, the ones that we've just built with a CTA. And we would split test both static and image ads. Now, the reason why we want to do that is that some markets respond better to video, some markets respond better to static. So we don't really know until we go out and test. Now, with a video ad, it's going to be the exact same thing as a static ad. It's just going to be expanded upon longer. So for example, you can take what you would say in a static ad and you would expand upon it for 60 to 90 seconds. And then you're going to create 25 to 30 different creatives. And the beautiful thing is once you figure out the messaging that works, now that's your messaging. You can just create a whole bunch of different types of formats of that messaging, and you can scale your company once you understand what messaging is actually resonating with your target market. Now, after you've created the video and the static ads, you're going to have to build out the landing page. So what the landing page should look like is an ICP callout, a headline, a subheadline, a video sales letter that talks through the problem, the solution, who you've helped, and handles common objections, and then a CTA button, which is book a call. And then you can have a problem section in there that where you expand on the pain they're probably feeling. You can have a false solution section that addresses what they've already tried and why it didn't work. You can have some case studies, which are super important, and then a second call to action. And the last thing you can do is a FAQ section that addresses the most common objections. And the whole purpose of this landing page is two things: get them to book a call and build enough trust that they actually show up for that call. So the landing page is super important, making sure that you're getting the people that click on your ad to actually get to that next step. Now, after somebody has actually gone to the landing page and they've booked a call with you, this is where we want to start building trust with them in our back end sequence. So we're going to have a confirmation page that we set up, which is as soon as someone books a call, they get redirected there. And on that confirmation page, we have 6 different videos. We have our main confirmation page video, and then we have 5 other videos that address commonly asked questions / objections that they get on sales calls. So for example, what we would do here is on video 1, we'd say welcome and what to expect on the call. Video 2 would be why most software implementations fail and what we do differently. Video 3, what does the 90-day process actually look like? Video 5 is social proof, walking through a real client case study. And so what we're doing with each of these videos is we're trying to address their objections as well as build trust with them before the call itself. Now, on top of these confirmation page videos, we're also going to be sending out a pre-call email sequence. So what this email sequence is going to cover is introducing who you are, what the call will cover. It's going to walk them through what our process is and what makes us different. And then it's going to link them back to the confirmation page as well with all those different videos. And so the purpose of this is to educate our prospects. If we can educate and build trust with our prospects, they're going to show up to that call way more warm. They're not going to ask, so what is it that you guys do? They're not going to be cold. They're not going to be skeptical. So this is going to be the difference that helps you close from 5% to 15 to 20% on cold traffic. So this is a super important part that I feel like a lot of companies forget about altogether. And then the next part, once they've shown up to the call, is the sales process itself. So as soon as a lead starts to come in, you want to make sure that you have your discovery call, which is understanding their current situation, their problem, their goals, and qualifying them. And then step 2 should be a proposal call, right? And going over the exact proposal, what it is that you can do and how you can help them. And then what we really want to make sure that we're doing on the sales process side is tracking every single week what your show rate is, what your close rate is, what the sales cycle is, so you know exactly what you need to improve each week over week. And so once you've dialed in your sales process, you'll be hitting a 20% close rate consistently on cold traffic, which will allow you to scale your ads with ease. So that's the full breakdown of exactly how I would run meta ads for a software dev company, from picking a lane and building the right offer to defining the ICP, building the ads, the funnel, and the campaign structure. And this is the exact framework we use to generate high ticket clients for software dev shops using meta ads. Now look, there's a lot of moving parts in all of this itself. So if you want help building this out for your business, you can go ahead and book a call with me in the description. I'll be happy to map out our process and see if it might be a fit. But other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take it easy. Ciao.